welcome to microgreening. There's slight differences in microgreens. This would be considered a wheatgrass microgreen with soil. And then this is another form of sprouting, which I love, because you could just stick them in these holes in a Hawaiian punch bottle. And you can just eat that. And it's mega, like garlic, onion, and it's just starting to kind of come about. If you can see, let me see if I can get this camera. Kind of do things on the fly. I've also sprouted garlic cloves. I stuck it in a really thin layer of soil, potting soil, and stuck the garlic in there. And that's a form of sprouts. Now, once they sprout, you can stick them in a little cup like this and just keep eating them. The more you cut them, the more you eat them. The other thing that about sprouting that's really awesome is you get a full flavor. Hi, it's me. This is full flavor, like epic nutrient. Doesn't get better than this. But it's the same thing as this. But as you can see, it's really dense, okay? So you apply some soil. When the seeds are tiny, you don't want to sprout them in a jar first. Wheatgrass, you can do it in a jar. It's a bigger seed. And you put it in there, put a paper towel over it, wet it 3 times a day, leave it in the closet. It turns yellow, bring it in here, stick it by your windowsill, and you've got wheatgrass that you can juice or just eat in a salad. With microgreens, it's a little bit different. They're smaller seeds, so in your thin layer of soil, and actually I can lift it and show you something very interesting. This is what microgreens do. So this whole thing lifts up, even though it's soil. They embed themselves. I've also seen people do this with a paper towel, which is really interesting, or a bowl with a paper towel. I just happen to have these little plastic trays. I put a thin layer of soil, about 1 inch. This is also going to be sprouting from your trash, your onion trash, until they become dry, and this will make an onion sprout and an onion bulb. So this is what I bought. The savory mix, I really love it. And I'll list the benefits here. It's kale, it's beet, Swiss chard, radish, mustard, cress, cabbage, mustard, cabbage, different kind, kohlrabi. So these are really tiny seeds, as you can see. And I'll post this as a video, and you can see the different variants of these. So you kind of spread them like bird seed. So you'll get some moistened soil or a paper towel, and you'll lay it here, and then you'll really evenly distribute those around. You don't want to leave any holes, or you'll get holes in your microgreens. This is the most nutritious based form of sprouting that you'll get. But you can also sprout in jars, which is a completely other system of getting your nutrients. What I've done is I got something like as expensive as chickpeas, and I sprouted them in a jar and made a hummus, which is really good because you're getting things right as they're coming out and sprouting and have a little tail. It's almost the same concept as microgreening, and it's almost the same concept as that soiled Hawaiian punch bottle. And the reason I like this is because it has a handle, and when I'm in here, I just break off a piece. I need it. So good. It's like garlic on crack. So that's why I started these in a dome. I wanted to see first if my theory would work, which it did. Second, it's creating some root system, and I'll put them in these cups. Now, these are things I'm going to grow in my spring garden. And then I have chili pepper plants, and I have red jalapeno and some big Anaheim chili from my garden. And as you can see, these are flowering, and I have artificial lighting, which I have a link to that. Here's another microgreen that it didn't really taste all that great, but I ate them anyway. It was a kale. So I want to go over here to this other project because it's really cool. See these cut-offs of onions? You dry them. You can get them as dry as you want to. Even the garlic one. And what you do is you can stick these in a thin layer of soil and they'll grow a sprout. And then it'll get bigger, 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 bigger. It'll get so long like the vertical tower. And you just keep cutting, keep watering it, keep eating it. It never goes away. It's a form of sprouting. So this is the way we turn trash into treasure. So what I did was I thought, wow, if this part works, why not just get the very tip of the clove? And that's what I did here. I popped inside of here the tip of the clove that you cut off. And look what it did. It sprouted because it has a root system. Like a ginger root, anything that you can think of can sprout pretty much. These were really expensive microgreen seeds. I'll probably find another brand. They're very organic, very clean. And you have to remember with microgreens, it covers a lot. I mean, you think those little seeds won't do anything, but they actually spread. And so I've had friends that put them in a little shaker and they just shake it on top of the soil, put it in the closet for a couple days. They turn yellow. They get the chlorophyll, bring them into the sun, keep watering them, keep cutting them, and keep on eating. Here's another form of a microgreen. I thought I'd try it. It was on discount. Why microgreen a tomato? I mean, that makes no sense. And then you have a kale. And here's some broccoli that I'm going to grow in the garden. And then I've got some other kinds of kale. And then I have this Premier blend of kale. It has like every form of kale that there is. And I'll plant this in my garden because I don't want to microgreen that. Microgreen seeds can be purchased in bulk, which I think is the greatest way to go. Because then you can pick the microgreen you really like and that you want to eat a lot of. The broccoli microgreen is equivalent to, I think they said 10 pounds of one tray like this is equivalent to 10 pounds of broccoli flowerets if it was a broccoli microgreen. So this is one that has just been cut. It looks kind of like that with little clovers, as you can see. And this is going to grow again, and it's going to become tall. And you can actually eat this right now. You can pick it and eat it. Very tasty. And this is the savory mix. This is also a little bit of a mixture. So it's fun. It's the same concept as when you were in school and you put a seed in and it grew one sprout. This is going to grow one plant. This is going to give you nutrition all through the winter. So I'm going to go ahead and post this little impromptu to sprouting. I don't have any jars sprouting right now. So that's just one way to do it. And I think you should try with lentils or something inexpensive like chickpeas. You can see it happen and then start sprouting all kinds of other things. So I'm like super excited. I have food through the winter. It's very nutrition dense and it's probably the better way to eat. You can put those microgreens on top of anything, chili, anything you can think of. And you're going to get the nutrition of like what you would eat in 7 days of real vegetable. So you're getting it very, very beginning at the beneficial area and you're eating it. I'd start with lentils, any form, chickpea. I've sprouted fenugreek. I've done all kinds of sprouting. So they have a sprouting jar and they have a plastic. I used a mason jar with a cheesecloth and a rubber band and tilt it at 90 degrees. And you have sprouting. Don't get fooled by the microgreen. Don't let it fool you. They have mixes that you can buy. It's kind of a high name for something very basic. So you can just say, this is a form of a sprout also. Because it's going to produce this. And you can eat this all winter long. Just keep on watering. And it creates roots and bulbs. And then you can open this up at some point and just dry the bulb like I did here. I did a bulb that came out of there. And that is now an onion bulb, which you can put in your garden and then eat it next year. So that's basically what I'm doing in those towers. I'm creating bulbs. I'm eating as I go, and I can stir fry with them. They're awesome. And it's so exciting. You practice with a garlic clove, which is really fun because it's not expensive and you can just rock on. I've seen people do them in cake pans. They don't suggest metal. I had these little black liners for the garden and I just put them in here, and that's a higher end of sprouting. But sprouting is awesome and it's so much fun. So I'm going to post this as Sprouting 101 and give it to Newt, who is like my awesome friend. And I hope this helps. If you want to do it in jars, let me know and I'll give you the 101 on that. How many days and when do you know it's done and how does it store, and just all kinds of weird little questions. But you can do anything. It's really fun, except for like a pinto bean. They're really poisonous. You know, I'll give you the ins and outs, take pictures, and I'll give you diagrams, and it's super fun. So have a good time. Yay, sprouting. Yay.